All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Small Business Spotlight. Today, we're going to be speaking with the owner of the Health Insurance Specialists, John Lazis. Thank you for joining us today, John.
Hey, thanks for having me, Travis. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, me too. So for all of you who might be new to this particular podcast, what we do is one of two things. Number one, we either have on a small business that is extremely good at what they do. They're either bringing some innovative solutions, or they're just fantastic at customer service and really stepping up the level for everybody else to follow. Or we provide expertise and authority in different subjects to give our viewers something to learn from. In this case, Mr. John's going to help us with both. So John, tell us a little bit about your business and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Health Insurance Specialist is a resource for all things health insurance. And we serve consumers and small business owners and the self-employed. And what we strive to do with everybody who comes our way is to guide them in the best way possible as far as their health insurance needs. And we have a network of specialists in the different areas: Medicare, group plans, private plans, so on and so forth.
Okay.
And once we find out what the needs are of the individual or company that comes our way, then we send them to the best possible resource that can provide them the best coverage for their needs and their budget.
Okay. And is there a specific region or geographic area that you work, or are you pretty much nationwide?
Yeah, we're based in Colorado. We're licensed in multiple states, approximately 10 states currently.
Okay.
And we have the ability to do business in most states in the nation. So we're essentially a nationwide company.
Okay. Very cool. So what would you say actually makes you different or unique from the other people in your space?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I focus on with the clients that I help the most are private plans that are available outside of group plans, group employer plans, and outside of the Affordable Care Act system. And these private plans are typically, but not always, ones that have to be qualified for, otherwise known as underwritten plans.
Okay.
Okay, so the idea there is, if one can qualify for an underwritten plan, they're typically going to get better rates and better terms on their coverage compared to a non-underwritten or guaranteed acceptance plan. And that's because the insurance company offering private plans, underwritten plans, can manage their risk on the front end. So they're not taking on as many unhealthy people, and so they can afford to offer those lower rates and better coverage otherwise.
So it's pretty much safe to say that they can qualify for lower rates if with good health.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, with good health and with a pretty tame lifestyle as well, and a clean history, lifestyle-wise.
Okay.
Safe occupation.
All right. So what do you think kind of sets you apart as a business owner, and what kind of secrets can you share with us about your success and in ways that you've been successful there?
Well, if I share secrets, Travis, they're no longer secrets, so I'm not going to do that.
All right. So don't share any of your secrets with regards to the insurance, but help us to understand how we can run our businesses better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I myself try to be the anti-sales guy. So my approach is very friendly, conversational. Put aside all the scripts and all the things that they tell us in the sales books, and just be real with people. Just have a conversation, connect. First and foremost, find out what their needs are, and then do my best to fill those needs. It's a really pretty simple formula.
So how many people do you think do you typically help in a given week, month, or year? Take your pick.
Yeah, in a given week, I myself, this is not including my network of specialists, I myself will typically when you say help, I'm not sure if you mean actually signing them up for a plan or helping them in some fashion, whether it's free advice or referring them on.
So what you were saying previously is that you have different options available to you that you can kind of refer them to. So you're going to make sure that they find what's best for them. So making sure that they find their destination, whether you sign them up for something or you send them to where they need to go. Well, that's what I was kind of referring to as help, because that's how I would qualify it for myself in a very similar space.
Yeah. I would say, on average, I'm helping people in some fashion to the tune of maybe 20, 25 people a week on average.
Very nice.
Okay. And maybe a quarter of them I'll directly help with a plan. Okay.
Very nice. So are you seeing most of your business, are you reaching out to them or are they reaching out to you? Are you seeing, is it inbound model or an outbound model?
Yeah. Used to be an all outbound kind of sales guy, and that's the way I was trained, trained on following up on telemarketed leads. And about a year ago, I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, and it didn't have to be that way. And I remember always feeling kind of envious about businesses that would tell me most of their business came from referrals. And it was kind of a mystery to me. How can you get to that place of, how does a business get to that place of mostly being a referral-based business? So I decided to roll up my sleeves and do a lot of asking and studying and watching, observing others. And so fast forward a year later here, and now most of our business is referral-based business.
Very nice.
And or personally developed leads, so through network marketing or networking groups, for instance.
So can you share some of those examples with us as well? What kind of networking groups or what kind of marketing do you do?
Yeah, so I focus on one networking group in particular that happens to have multiple locations all over Colorado and now other states. And with the rise of the Zoom age, we've had access to even more members in that group because they might be based in the western part of Colorado, and I wouldn't have previously traveled out there, to meet with that particular group.
Right.
So that's been a better and better source for connecting for people. What else? Personally developed leads. It could be just walking and talking, going into shops and I don't do that actively now, but I have done that in the past. And just getting to know the local shop owners and going from there. A lot of referral business coming in these days from particularly property and casualty agents, financial planners, these kinds of professionals. And then referrals from satisfied clients. Right. And I'd say the last category that's borne quite a bit of fruit over the last year has been through Google searches that people do for health insurance. And it's taken some work and some focus to build up those Google reviews and, always asking for them and following up if they don't do the review to ask them to get it taken care of. But, we've been fortunate to have built up about 80 5-star reviews on Google just in the last year, and that carries a lot of weight. It certainly does a lot to, as far as SEO goes, search engine optimization. And, it's built-in credibility of sorts, right? When people go searching in their area for health insurance and I pop up at the top of the list and there's 5 stars, 80 reviews, they call me with a certain level of trust already built in.
Right. You can tell people you're good and the best till you're blue in the face, but until somebody else says it for you, it doesn't carry as much weight. So you have a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I always always ask those reviewers to not only give me however many stars they think I earned, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also type in a comment or two, and everybody's typed a comment or two or five. And so that's what I'm showing people, when I'm starting into a presentation with them, just briefly showing them, what other people are saying about us.
Okay. So for some of the people that are watching this for the first time and don't know, I am also a health insurance agent in the state of Texas. John here is from Colorado, and he's been very kind and very gentle and teaching me a few of his secrets. We'll keep those just between us, so you don't have to get in too much trouble here, John. But I do appreciate your time and some of your tutelage as well, and I just wanted to put that out there. And I really
it's my pleasure.
I really connect with you specifically because we share a lot in common with wanting to put that client first, wanting to understand their situation before we even jump in there and speak. Like, it's that whole listen 80% and talk 20% routine instead of the other way around. It's not about showing how much you know, it's about how much you're willing to help. And until you understand their unique situation, you really can't help them. So I appreciate that about you. And you were sharing with me previously on a previous occasion some of the ways that you try to make your work and your efforts as efficient as possible. Would you like to share any of those with us today?
Yeah, absolutely, Travis. Thanks for your kind words, by the way. And
my pleasure.
Been happy to do what I can to help you as I do whatever I can to help anybody who comes into my world. So, and that's really crucial because for me, if I come from a place of wanting to serve and help others, and that's my primary motive, it takes a lot of the pressure off me, and it takes my attention off of me and my needs and wants. And there's just a lot more joy I find in operating in my life and my business that way. And
Absolutely.
Whether I end up getting business from them as a result, that's really out of my hands to a certain extent, once I've done my job. But if I can send somebody a different direction, they may come back to me. Here's a quick example, and then I'll get to your question.
Sure.
A gentleman who had gotten just a dental insurance policy from me about a year ago, he ended up dropping the dental plan because his new wife, as of about 6 months ago, had dental insurance through her employer. So he went on to that plan. Well, fast forward about 6 months from there, today, in other words, or yesterday, he calls me and informs me that his wife has lost her coverage. She's been laid off from her job, lost all of her medical coverage. And so he gave me a call asking me to talk with them about health insurance options now. And had I not treated him, as somebody I really wanted to help more than anything, and approached him, with his interests in mind. And had I not been a good sport when he dropped that dental plan after just a few months, he might not have come back to me.
Understood.
So I think that putting out that goodwill, that good energy, always serves everybody well, in some fashion. So as far as
let's just camp out here for a second, because this is almost the opposite of a pet peeve of mine. It's something that I really enjoy doing, is helping people. But one of the reasons I got into this insurance space was to kind of counteract the typical persona that people encounter when they have health insurance salespeople or health insurance agents. They typically expect them to be the equivalent of a used car salesman. And for all you used car salesmen out there, I know you're not all the same. Let's just put that out there. But the persona is there, right? They put it in movies, they put it in books, they put it in storylines, and that persona was earned at some point in time. It might not still be there, but it was earned at some points, right? So the whole reason I got into the ball game was to counteract some of that and to literally intentionally help people and guide them to where they need to go, not just what's going to help my own pocket. And in one of our previous podcasts that was done, I really called out to all the health insurance agents out there. And so you're answering the call, John, and I'm going to call it out to everybody else. Interview your health insurance agents. They work for you. Make sure you find one that you mesh with, that you have commonality with, and that you can actually enjoy from a long-term relationship, because they're going to be your frontline defense in everything that you do. If you don't have that relationship with your current agent, reach out to them, try to establish it. If it's not there, it's okay to find somebody else. We need to step up our game, and we need to change that persona, just like some of the other groups are doing right now. And so I'm sorry, that was my soapbox moment. I'm going to step down and let you talk about efficiency if that's what you'd like to do now, John.
Yeah. And before I do, I just wanted to tag on what you just said, Travis. That doing whatever I can to be that, not be that person that so many have had the experience, the less than pleasant experience or positive experience with. That wasn't a motivation for my getting involved in health insurance, but pretty early on, I decided I was going to be the opposite of that person, that stereotypical salesperson. And this applies to, I've been working with insurance of various sorts for almost 20 years now.
Wow.
I'm sorry, almost 15 years in insurance and related products. So, I would say that the image you painted there does apply to financial service professionals in general, but more specifically insurance professionals. And so, I decided pretty early on, I don't want to be that. I want to do whatever I can to change the public opinion and public view of my profession and make it, or do my part to help make it as noble a profession in the public's eyes as I can. So with that said, as far as efficiency goes, I've been an efficiency freak, as I told you prior to this, for much of my adult life, if not my whole life.
So when I call you a freak, remember, it's your own words. All
right. Just make sure you put efficiency in front of that. Don't ever just use the word freak.
No, see what I can do.
Anyway, yeah. So I don't know where that efficiency piece comes from. My surroundings, my parents, but in terms of my work life, what I figure is that if I'm going to do something, I want to do it as well as I can and as quickly as I can, and do it right the first time. I don't want to have to backtrack and do it over again or clean up a mess later. And if I'm going to do work, I want to be as sure as possible that it's going to accomplish the purpose that I wanted to accomplish. But then also, if it's an income generating activity, I want to make sure I get paid as quickly and as often as I can for that, without any slip ups, So as far as practices for, that I implement for efficiency, there's a lot of different examples I could give, but we have something called take-in rate in our business in the insurance world. And that's essentially the percentages of applications for policies that we submit that are issued by the company and also accepted by the consumer after issuance. So I worked really hard on this take-in rate piece because I know that the higher the take-in rate I have, it translates into the largest number of policies that I submit are going to pay me, my commission. So I figure if I'm going to do all the work that it takes to submit an application, I want to make sure as much as I can that, it's going to go through, it's going to get accepted, and I'm going to get paid for my good and hard work. So that's one example of efficiency, but were there some others that you wanted to hear about?
Well, sure. The one that you just kind of gave, I think, is speaking to the schoolboy and all of us. I remember when I was growing up and a little bit younger, whenever I'd start having to do a household chore or something like that, instead of arguing against vacuuming my room or mowing the lawn, I would actually try to figure out the fastest way to do it and still get it done correctly. That way I could be
Hmm?
moving on and done with it. And I'm pretending that I'm a superhero. I'm the world's best at vacuuming or mowing or whatever it is. And even so, to the point where I'm making the cool designs in the lawn, like some of these lawn crews and some of these golf courses and sports complexes do, right? So it's a mixture of artistry and efficiency and just basically good old elbow grease of getting the job done. And when you put all that together, you know, we're superheroes when that happens. So tell us a little bit more about your special powers and your unique, what makes you the health insurance specialists, the superheroes of insurance.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I love that that metaphor, and I never thought of myself as a superhero, but maybe now I will start
Efficiency man.
to do that. Yeah. Efficiency man. Make up a whole logo and a cape and all that. Um,
Well,
but
there's a whole cape, no cape argument that goes around in superheroes, but for all my,
right on.
and I'm going to say this with all love for all my nerd friends out there, we're not going to get into that right now.
Yeah. So, efficiency isn't just about what I do and how I live and work. It's also about making other people's lives as efficient as possible.
Right.
In other words, if I can shepherd a piece of business, an application through the pipeline as quickly as I can, with as little headache and with as little involvement from my client as possible, then that's helping them make their lives more efficient and effective, and save time and energy and sometimes money. So that's a good thing for sure for others. As far as the more mundane ways that in which I'm efficient, I'm always thinking about conserving time and energy, whatever the little task is that I'm doing. So I'm not the biggest technology freak out there, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there, because
Definitely
I'm
have some
realizing more
tools
and
in the
more.
belt there, huh?
Yeah, for
Superhero
sure.
belt.
I'm
What kind of
realizing.
tools you got there? Yeah, the Batarang or some sort of really cool tech toys. Like the Joker said in the original Batman, where does he get these wonderful toys? Right?
Right. Yeah. So, interestingly, I used to have a handyman business, so I literally had a tool belt on my waist, most days,
For some reason,
doing
I
that
can
work
actually
years ago.
picture that.
Okay.
Mentally
All
picturing
right.
that.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing is about technology is deciding what technology to adopt and how much time and energy to put into learning it.
Right.
And for me, it's I don't want to get into all the intricacies and details of every application or technology tool. I want to learn just enough to know and experience that it is making my life, my job easier, saving me time, saving me energy, and ultimately money.
Right.
And so I'm kind of a surface player with technology, if you will, but that's good for me. That works. Other people need to know more details, but for me, that's not in my world being as efficient as I can be with my time. And after all, you know this well as some of your audience, Travis, that money or income generating activity in the world of sales, in the world of commission based income, is all important. That rules. That should be at the forefront. So I think that we need to balance the desire and the practice of being efficient in our daily business practices with that constant reminder, is what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm being efficient. I'm learning this technology, but is it generating income?
Right.
And I catch myself multiple times in a day, thinking that question and just reorienting myself, as I go through my day to get back to that income generating activity.
There you go. Yeah. So when you were talking about that, it just reminded me of a few things. Number one, when we are trying to learn a new software system or something along those lines, there is the law of diminishing return. You're going to get extreme return on your investment, the little time that you put into it. And when you start learning some of the tips and tricks, it can definitely add a lot of value to you. But the more detail you in there, the more you're trying to squeeze that last drop out of the lime or the lemon, right? It's really hard to get a certain amount of content out once you get to a certain stage. So understanding where you're actually capping out or maxing out or optimizing that particular tool is really something that we need to be more focused on. That way, whenever we're doing that revenue generating activity like you're mentioning, we're actually optimizing that time instead of trying to learn something that's actually not returning that same investment level. I said a couple of things. That's the only thing that's really coming to mind right now. So I'll let you, if you have another topic that you want to jump off on. Otherwise, we can start looking at some of the secrets or tips or any takeaways that you want to give us from a consumer, somebody who's responsible for getting our own insurance. What would you suggest that we really look out for?
Yeah, well, just to know that there are essentially two different kinds of insurance. If you break it down to the most basics, group insurance, which is offered by employers often, especially the larger employers, and then individual insurance. And individual insurance can be gotten under the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare system, or in the private space. So there's private individual insurance out there. So know those basic differences, and then like you were saying earlier, inform yourself what the options are. Find somebody who is going to educate you about what your options are and your best options, and do so in as impartial a way as possible.
Right.
And inform yourself to allow you to make the best decision for yourself, for your family, as far as best coverage at the best price. So that's kind of skimming the surface there, but that's the initial thought that comes to mind about advice I would give people. And then, from there, if you can qualify, or you think you're young enough, you're healthy enough, you don't have a hazardous occupation, for instance, and you might qualify for one of these preferred private plans, go ahead and explore that realm and find an agent who works with those types of plans and can also advise you on the other options, Affordable Care Act or what have you. Because again, if you can pass through underwriting standards for those plans, you're going to get more bang for your buck and for less buck.
So just to jump off on that, I just want to encourage our viewers out there. Don't be scared to ask for advice. Nobody expects you to be an expert in everything. It is okay to have people in your network, people that you trust, that you go to, just to ask questions. You don't necessarily have to buy anything from them. Don't feel like they're pushing you into a decision. Just go ahead and ask questions. These resources, John and myself and many others, we're here for you, right? So don't be scared to look out for that. I want to put it into an analogy that I used to talk about. I was in the golf industry for a little while, and I had a lot of members at the country club that I was working at that would say, I don't need lessons. They thought it was a hit to their pride. But I would look at them and I say, who gets more lessons than anybody else? The touring pros. They have probably 3 lessons a day. And if you think you're better than them, well, then you should be out there making millions of dollars. Otherwise, it's not a pride thing. It's about you getting better. Don't be scared to ask for help. It's actually a good thing. Back to you, John.
Yeah, absolutely. So just want your audience to be aware that even though the individual plans are are called that. They're just called individual plans to distinguish them from group plans
Right.
that, again, most employers offer. But individual plans can actually be gotten by small businesses,
Indeed.
you know, and we more often than not help small businesses with individual plans at my company that have 12 or fewer employees. And it can often make more sense for the employer and the employees to have individual plans as opposed to being on a group plan for a number of reasons we won't go into now. But
right.
And so, but these individual plans, again, are available to consumers, meaning individuals, couples, and families, and then also the self-employed and small business owners and their staff.
And self-employed also covers independent contractors.
Independent contractors, yep. Solopreneurs, indeed.
All right. Well,
Yep.
Now that we've covered kind of insights for your particular clientele, let's cover some particular insights that we want to share with the small business owners. Is there anything that you want to leave them with today that would kind of give them something to think about to increase their efficiency or to operate a little bit differently?
Yeah, I think that certainly don't be open to looking at considering new technology that could make you more efficient and effective in your business. But try to take shortcuts. Find out from others who are already using it how well it's working for them. Is it making their life, their business more efficient,
Right.
them more effective, productive? You don't have to start from square one with these technologies, I found. And then just employ the ones that seem to make sense, one by one, and see how they're working for you and move from there. I think it makes a lot of sense to have a clean and clear workspace office. I think that the energy of the space.
I'm glad you can't see my desk right now.
Okay, but your background seems nice and orderly. Is that your wife's doing, or? Okay, but no, I think that the energy of a space infuses into everything in that space, including ourselves and our quality of work, our state of mind. If we're clean and clear on our desk, and I'm not always totally clean and clear on my desk either, by the way, but I just have a better feeling. It's sort of inexplainable, but it's just a better feeling that I'm more with it. I'm more being more efficient. I know where things are, and there's less distraction.
Understood.
Yeah. So those are a couple of thoughts that come to mind. We've hit two basic topics: the efficiency piece and the insurance piece. To kind of tie them together, one thought that's coming to me is when a busy business owner is shopping for insurance of any sort, or really shopping in general, my guess, if they're like me, is that they want to be as efficient as possible. In other words, They want to use as little time and as little energy as they can in finding the solution that they think they need, and get the best quality for the least amount of money possible. So at my company, the Health Insurance Specialists, we cover all those bases.
Okay.
So we're going to, if a business owner comes to us or a consumer, we're going to get to the point quickly. In other words, what's their situation, their health, their occupation, their lifestyle, gather that data, and as quickly as possible, which is usually in a matter of minutes, be able to recommend to them the universe of possibilities that are going to best fit their situation in terms of what they're most likely to qualify for,
right?
What their needs are. Okay, might put that first on the list, actually, and then budget often will come into the conversation. But we're going to get to the point as quickly as possible and honor that prospective client using that process. And then we're going to make the rest of the process as efficient and quick as we can as well to help that consumer, that business owner, get what they want, what they need, and get on with their life, get on with their business as quickly as possible.
All right. Well, that sounds all good and dandy, John. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of wrap up a little bit, and right down below you, we're going to put some links for the health insurance specialists. And so anybody who wants to meet up with you on LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatever platforms that you're on, or even go straight to your website, they can do that. And in the meantime, people, especially nowadays, stay safe and stay healthy out there. Respect one another and do what you can there. John, thank you very much for being with us. Any closing thoughts from you?
Well, thanks, Travis. The pleasure is mine, and again, I appreciate your having me on, and I'm open to helping and serving anybody out there. If you just want to chat about efficiency, if you want to chat about health insurance, if you whatever, I'm a resource. I strive to help and serve everybody that comes my way, whatever way I can. So, yeah, feel free to reach out to me if you're in another state or even another country. It doesn't matter to me. And at very least, I think we'll find that we'll have an interesting conversation, and we'll leave better people as a result.
And you'll have somebody to go visit whenever you're in Colorado. And when you're in Texas,
absolutely,
let me know, people. It's a big state, but I'm on the southwest side, Houston. Come see me. All right, John, thank you very much for being on today. And we might even left this open for a second come around another time, because there's there was a big kind of, we're not going to get into that right now on the small business side. So maybe we can do that another time. But as for now,
absolutely.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Small Business Spotlight.